Alfie, leave Kaya alone. What's good, John Lonnie Appleton? I'm a healthy family advocate. I advocate for the healthy restoration of our families, bringing us back to our former greatness. We're great now, but we can always get greater, right? Just because we can say we could get better doesn't mean we ain't better now, right? We ain't our best, but we can get better. I come on Monday through Saturday if time permits, 12 Mountain Standard Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It is presently 12:07, so I come on and I read the Bible. I considered changing my shirt, but I figure weed is from the earth. God created weed, therefore I can wear my weed shirt while reading the Bible. We are reading the Bible from the perspective of this cover and the pages in between. No reference points, no prior knowledge outside of sitting in church and listening to the pastor. And I'm not here to debate the validity or why I'm reading it. I'm reading it because God told me to. I'm reading on live because God said go live and read the Bible. And I believe in reading the Bible live on the internet. One gives us all an opportunity to commune in God energy. It gives us an opportunity to see others doing things and kind of trigger something within ourselves. Stop that barking. It kind of triggers something within ourselves to be like, hey, I kind of want to read the Bible so you can read it for yourself. And it just gives us a chance. I don't necessarily want to read the Bible, but I don't mind listening. And hey, you get to hang out with me and we get to really just dissect the word according to our understanding, not the understanding of anyone else. Just how can we make this relevant to our lives today? So we are on Deuteronomy chapter 11, love and obey the Lord. Alfie, cut that barking out. I wanted to come sit outside. It's a beautiful day out here in sunny Arizona, and so I wanted to come outside. Chapter 11, love the Lord your God and keep his requirements, his decrees, his laws, and his commands always. Remember today that your children were not the ones who saw and experienced the discipline of the Lord your God, his majesty, his mighty hand, his outstretched arm, the signs he performed and the things he did in the heart of Egypt, both to Pharaoh king of Egypt and to his whole country. What he did to the Egyptian army, to its horses and chariots, how he overwhelmed them with the waters of the Red Sea as they were pursuing you, and how the Lord brought lasting ruin on them. It was not your children who saw what he did for you in the wilderness until you arrived at this place. And what he did to Dathan and Abiram, son of Eliab, the Reubenite, when the earth opened its mouth right in the middle of all Israel and swallowed them up with their households, their tents, and every living thing that belonged to them. Yeah, that was brutal, God. But it was your own eyes that saw all these great things the Lord has done. So what I received from that is just saying your children didn't see it, you saw it. So it's up to you to impress upon your children what you've experienced, but you have to truly experience it and internalize it, and it has to create, remember I always talk about the connection point, so it has to create that connection point within you, so now you can retell the story from a place of knowing, because that place of knowing is what you're going to be able to transfer into your children. Observe therefore all the commands I am giving you today, so that you may have the strength to go in and take over the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess, and so that you may live long in the land the Lord swore to your ancestors to give to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. The land you are entering to take over is not like the land of Egypt from which you have come, where you planted your seed and irrigated it by foot as in a vegetable garden. But the land you are crossing the Jordan to take possession of is a land of mountains and valleys that drinks rain from heaven. It is a land the Lord your God cares for. The eyes of the Lord your God are continually on it from the beginning of the year to the end of it, to its end. That's pretty dope. Now, when you come into the promised land, you're coming into a space that God maintains. He said, you are coming from a space and a season in your life that you have to till, that you have to do the work. You're putting in the labor. You are putting in the work. I saw sis posted today that she's discouraged. I was like, sis, discouragement is a good thing. Discouragement is the disappointment of your passion. Your passion expected an outcome, and when the outcome didn't happen, it discouraged you. But when you're discouraged, it means that you care about what you're doing. Because when we don't get discouraged and we don't get the outcome we want, we walk away from it. But when we have discouraged, it's because we invested our energy and our time and we expected a particular outcome. That is the energy of a scientist. So discouragement is okay. And what God is saying is, you have experienced and lived a life where you are doing the work. But when you finally align with God's divinity, you will move into a space, you will move into a place where God does the work for you, and you just got to keep showing up and reap the benefits. So you have to do the work first. And when God is pleased and you have aligned with your divinity, you will come into a space where the work does itself. Amen. That was powerful. So if you unfaithfully obey the commands I am giving you today to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will send rain on your land in its season, both autumn and spring rain, so that you may gather in your grain, new wine and olive oil. I will provide grass in the fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Be careful, or you will be enticed to turn away and worship other gods and bow down to them. Other gods are other people. Other gods are other things. Anything that you put in front of yourself because you are God. Anything that you spend more attention to besides yourself, then that is a false idol. If you're sitting on the internet and you're sitting here listening to gossip and, spending time with your friends and focus on everybody else, what Shifu says is small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about events. Great minds create, manifest, develop, and talk about solutions. I don't remember what the last one is, but what I'm saying is great minds focus on themselves and becoming the best version of themselves. And as they become the best version of themselves, they now impact the collective, because the best version of yourself is constantly focused on how I can be of service to others. Because when you're service to others, there's other people that you attract into your reality that think, how can I be of service to others? And those are the people who are of service to you. You give in your gifts and talents not so that you can live abundantly within your gift and talent. You use your gift and talent to help others live abundantly in their gifts and talents, and they give their gifts and talents to you so that you can live abundantly into yours. So it's not for you to be holy by yourself, but for you to create your holiness within your collective and your community, and that is God, because we are the collective. This is getting good. Thank you, Deuteronomy, because the Numbers and the Exodus, I was like, whew. And the Leviticus, I was like, whew. Deuteronomy bringing it home, though. Be careful, or you will be enticed to turn away and worship other gods and bow down to them. Then the Lord's anger will burn against you, and he will shut up the heavens so that it will not rain, and the grounds will yield no produce, and you will soon perish from the good land the Lord is giving you. So all that it says to me is all the behaviors that you are so married to, and you're like, this is my personality, this is who I am. But if it doesn't serve your higher good and it's actually repelling people against you, or people have to tolerate you instead of enjoy being around you, and just because your kids have to be around you, just because your spouse has to be around you, doesn't mean they enjoy it. You want people to enjoy your energy. You want to enjoy your energy. You know what about you is annoying, because if someone else was doing the things that you're doing to you, you wouldn't like it. So that's how we are mirrors to ourselves, because we can actually see people who are exhibiting behaviors that we have, and we can watch them and be like, oh, that's what I look like. Oh, that's what I sound like. When I go places and I just hear people cussing just to cuss, I'm like, oh, that's what I sound like. So it makes me go back and start refining and start continuing to work past my use of profanity. I'm always gonna cuss, because a cuss word is like any other piece of language. It has a nice place in the vocabulary, but it's not an all the time thing. Not the way that people just feel like I need to cuss because that's the sign of I like to cuss. Well, I like to cuss too, but time and place. And you will sooner. Okay, so the point that I want to make is we attach to different behaviors and all these different things. And as we attach to those behaviors, that in essence is worshiping a false god. This bad attitude. God told you not to have a bad attitude, but here you are walking around with this bad attitude and this chip on your shoulder. Your allegiance to that chip on your shoulder, instead of doing the work to align with God's divinity, is worshiping a false god. You literally are giving your life over to something that doesn't serve you, instead of aligning with God's will and doing the work to overcome it. So that's what God means with these false idols and these false gods. God's not talking about every pathway leads to God. No matter how you try to get to God, it's cool because you get into God. What God means with these false idols and these false prophets is you looking for anything inside of this world. You have an allegiance to anything inside of this world that does not serve your higher good, that does not serve the collective. That is a false god and a false idol. You can't stop cheating. You can't stop lying. You can't stop gossiping. You can't stop judging. All these things is so much a part of you that you can't stop. You actually catch yourself judging, and you keep on judging like it's just me. That is a false god. That is a false idol. That one actually says, do not judge, and you're still choosing to do it. Those are the false gods and false idols, gods like you putting that before me. I told you not to do it, and you still doing it. Therefore, you are choosing a behavior. You are choosing to bow down and worship something before my word, and my word says not to do it. And you are choosing otherwise, and those are the false gods that God is warning you against. Not no Orishas and stuff like that. Orishas came before all this other stuff. Orishas were around before all this stuff. So you want to tell me God is like, yeah, I know that's your history, but don't do that no more. Nah. Let's see. And you will soon perish from the good land the Lord is giving you. Fix these words of mine, which just means God will give it to you. As soon as God gave it to you, God can take it away. If you're mismanaging your blessings, soon the blessing can turn into a curse like that. The blessing can be taken away like that. You can't mismanage the blessing. You can't come into the blessing and think that you're now blessed. You have to maintain it. Everything has maintenance, period. Tie them as, what are y'all doing? Oh, that's you.
Mommy?
But I'm in Bible study, so you gotta wait.
Look, I on it and the guy did be there with me.
Okay, well then go play another game, kiddo. Well, if you want to play that game, then you're gonna have to deal with whatever comes with that game. It's your choice. Push through. Fix these words of mine in your heart and mind. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Teach them to your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be many in the land the Lord swore to give you and your ancestors, as many as the days that the heavens are above the earth. So this is the second time within this chapter. What are your pronouns, please? No offense. Ha! I asked somebody that and they got so pissed off at me. I'm she. Female. Woman. Me, woman. Thank you for asking. Yeah, she cussed me out for asking her pronouns because I didn't know how to ask. I was like, are you she, they, them, he? I didn't know. This is new to me. And my daughter told me, you're like, what are your preferred pronouns? That's how you're supposed to ask. I learned, I got cussed out. No offense. I am Lonnie Appleton. She, mom, all the female thingies. If you carefully observe all these commands I am giving you to follow, to love the Lord. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say was, this is the second time in Deuteronomy, God said, you should do nothing. I look special. Well, I am special. I'm very, very special. And I thank you for acknowledging that. This is the second time in Deuteronomy where God said, I forgot what he said. Oh yeah, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, think about it, live it. You live in God energy. That's what you do. So this is the second time it was mentioned. So anytime that you are not giving God time, you're wasting your time. And God said, if you do that which I command you, focus on me in everything you do, you will live within God's energy. If you say, hey, Kaden, get from under there. Why are you under there? All right, if you feel safe, good luck with that. If you carefully observe all these commands I am giving you to follow, to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, and to hold fast to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations before you, and you will dispossess nations larger and stronger than you. Every place where you set your foot will be yours. Your territory will expand from the desert to the Lebanon, from the desert to Lebanon, and from the Euphrates River to the Mediterranean Sea. No one will be able to stand against you. The Lord your God, as he promised you, will put the terror and fear of you in the whole land wherever you go. So as long as you are out here doing the Lord's work, they're going to be under your foot. Do you understand? They're going to be under your foot. As long as you are out here doing what you need to do, that which is meant for bad will always be turned to good. Do you understand? See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The curse, if you disobey the commands of the Lord your God and turn from the way that I command you today by following gods which you have not known. When the Lord your God has brought you into the land you are entering to possess, you are to proclaim on Mount Gerizim the blessings, and on Mount Ebal the curses. As you know, cut it out. As you know, these mountains are across the Jordan westward toward the setting sun, near the great tree of Morah, in the territory of those Canaanites living in the Arabah, in the vicinity of Gilgal. You are about to cross the Jordan to enter and take possession of the land the Lord your God is giving you. When you have taken it over and are living there, be sure that you obey all the decrees and laws I am setting before you today. So you have to understand, you must prepare yourself to enter into that which you know that you were promised in this lifetime, right? Not most of us, I can only speak for myself, but thank you, Testimony, for welcoming people in, and I love when you guys talk to each other and get to know each other. I am also what they call, aside from being special, I am what they call a bridge, which means I bring like-minded people together, so you are able to build your community within the comment section, and then you guys get to know each other and build your community, and you feel less alone because you found like-minded people in a like-minded space. So I love that you're doing that, Testimony. I appreciate you. Yeah, a blessing can quickly become a curse if you are ill prepared. That is why when the young lady today posted that she was feeling discouraged, I was like, you have to make sure every time you're trying to build something, you're trying to create something, taking the word try, you are actively building, you are actively creating and manifesting something. What it takes to create and manifest isn't just a check sheet in the physical world. That is where we mess up. In the physical world, we are trying to replicate what other people say. Well, check this box and boom, you have success. But that is not how you attain success. How you attain success is truly doing the work in the outside world as well as doing the work in the internal world. And when you do the work in the internal world, it'll now match the external world, and now it becomes a blessing. But if you are not doing the internal world work, it becomes a curse. So God will either bless you, and if you're being blessed because you are learning the lessons, which with every disappointment is a lesson. It's a setback. We are scientists. These are hypotheses. We are working theories. We never seen it done. Just because someone else has done it, they did not tell us what they did in their private time. They didn't tell us what prayers they were praying. They didn't say what they were releasing from themselves to be able to elevate to the consciousness to come into this space. Who has paid attention to themselves enough to know to do this? I have. I wrote the book about it. What's the Best That Can Happen? Available on Amazon. Make sure the seller is Lonnie Taylor. But who has paid attention enough to say, sis, these are what you need to do in order to achieve that which you want to achieve? So when you are out here doing your work, the difference between a blessing and a curse, these dogs out here wilding. The difference between a blessing and a curse is your preparedness. Do you understand? It literally said God will delve out a blessing and a curse at the same time. And depending on how you are prepared for it determines on if it is a blessing or a curse. Does God truly exist? I'm doing good. He does. Why? Okay. I'm doing good. He does. Why does he love some and hate others? I personally don't believe that God loves or hates. I also believe that there's certain energetic vibrations that God's not present. Do you understand? God in order to vibrate at the frequency, in order for you to tap into your God consciousness, it's you got to shed so much of this third dimension. I don't know where you're at in this, so I don't know what language to use, but this world that we live in, this physical world that we live in, is created to keep us disconnected from God. So in order for us to even connect to God, we've got to shed all of this physical world, all this hate, all of this lack, all this separation, all of this, the things that come out of our mouth, the way that we think. There's so much that we have to release ourselves with to even vibrate to a frequency where we can now start communicating with God. And at every level, I have felt that I've communicated with God, but now I know God talks back to me. I know I've always communicated, but I have ascended to the vibration where God talks back to me. Now, what I have to say about is God real? God is personal. When you're occupying a church pew, the person sitting next to you and the pastor in the pulpit all believe in different gods. Everywhere, everybody believes in a separate God. But the fact is that, can I come up? Do you want to be a guest on this? I finish Bible study at 1 o'clock. If you're still here at 1 o'clock, we can definitely have a conversation, but not during Bible study, because I agreed, me and God made agreement that I will come on live and read the Bible. So I can answer your question after 1 o'clock, but I don't want to disrupt what agreement I have with God. I'm trying to get into the land of milk and honey, baby. I can't stop and have no questions and answers during Bible study. But what I will say, relationship with God is very personal. Okay, so I've been atheist, I've been Christian, I researched Islam, I've researched Buddhism in search for God. And what I learned was I am God. I am God consciousness. My fellow man is God. We are all manifestations. God created Adam and Eve, if that's the story that you believe, but you were created in God's image. Therefore, we are God. So do you hate people? If you do, then that's why God hates. Do you love people? Then God is love. So you choose who God is for you, and you cannot determine who God is for someone else, if that makes sense. Like I said, whoever you're sitting next to in a pew and whoever's in the front of the church all believe in different gods. So I believe that God is very real. Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. The one place of worship. Watch, I'm about to read something that contradicts that. I interpret the Bible. I don't take this thing literally. Y'all done heard me. I done said all kinds of wonderful things here, and we're going to keep on saying it. The one place of worship, chapter 12. These are the decrees and laws you must be careful to follow in the land that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you to possess. As long as you live in the land, destroy completely all the places. Excuse me. Is that your best choice right now? Okay, correct it, and I appreciate it. As long as you live in the land, destroy completely all the places in the high mountains. And testimony, if you're not following the content, please get into the content. We doing big things over here. Some of our sisters are in the audience. Ask them. We doing stuff over here. On the hills and under every spreading tree, where the nations you are dispossessing worship their gods. Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, and burn their Asherah poles in the fire. Cut down the idols of their gods and wipe out their names from those places. And all that I want to say in relation to that is we have to stop being so dang literal. Do you think that the God worship is only that which we see as the literal? I have an altar. I have my orishas on it. I have an altar. All these things that are going on. No, we have worship. This cell phone that we hold in our hand is a false idol. When you can't wake up and thank God first, you wake up and check Facebook or TikTok or whatever the heck first. That is a false God that you are worshiping. So we must stop looking at other people who stand in a different faith, and we need to actually look at people who, what are you addicted to? That is a false God. What behavior that you know doesn't serve your higher good, but you can't stop it because you've been it for so long? I have been me for 40 some odd years. The behaviors that I am changing within myself. I taught my son how to ride a bike yesterday, and I spoke so much life into him. I was like, yo, can you imagine if I taught my other 3 kids with this same energy? Can you think if I spoke to my kids like this all the freaking time, how much more powerful they would be if they are never being torn down, always being lifted up? And correction does not mean, you little motherfucker. No, correction is using the energy, but still speaking life while you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why I got on that, but I'm really proud of my moment yesterday. All of that content is going up on YouTube as the apple turns. A lot of content is no longer going to be posted here on TikTok because I have so many drafts and I can only post, right now I'm only posting 1 video a day. I used to do 4. I used to do 12. I used to do, as soon as I recorded a video, I was dropping videos, and that's why my videos don't get any views, because I'm blackballed on TikTok. But, you know, everything else is going over to YouTube as the apple turns. You can check our history because that's being dropped at the same time as our present. And please just check out, if you are curious what gentle parenting is, how can you just change up your flow. Check out the videos that are going to be dropping early March, probably March 7th is the earliest they're going to start dropping. Me teaching Caden how to ride a bike and how I speak to him. It's so beautiful, and something clicked into my head, and I was like, this is what Donda West was doing. I remember watching that Kanye West documentary, and I was like, that woman is doing something to that boy. Every time she spoke to him, I was like, she's doing something, and I figured it out. And I recorded a video, but then my phone, I lost all my videos, but I done figured you out, Donda. You done spoke to me, and I heard. Let's see what we were talking about. I love your content. I still have doubts about God. Friend, the G word just started crossing my lips. When God told me to read the Bible every day at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time on TikTok Live, I was like, get somebody else to do it. I don't mess with you like that. Me and God's relationship was like this. But God was like, if you really want the milk and honey, if you really want to get to the land that's flowing with milk and honey, get into the promise. So yes, there's a bunch of lies in here. I don't believe this stuff verbatim, but I can get into this because understand that every lie that they tell us, they also hide the truth in it. Just like there's a blessing, there is a curse. So depending on how you read this book, you are either receiving the blessing or you receiving the curse. And this book was written as a mind control tactic to control our people, to separate us from our divinity, but also they wrote this book as a guidebook for themselves so they can receive the blessing. And because we're locked into the curse, we don't see the blessing. But we here on TikTok Live Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we gonna get that blessing, and we gonna kick that curse's ass because we ain't got time for that. Thank you for loving the content. I appreciate you. I don't remember where I left off. You must not worship the Lord your God in their way, but you are to seek the place the Lord your God will choose from among all your tribes to put his name there for his dwelling. To that place you must go. There bring your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, what you have vowed to give in your free will. What you have vowed to give in your free will offerings, and the firstborn of your herds and flocks. There in the presence of the Lord your God, you and your family shall eat and shall rejoice in everything you have put your hand to. But the Lord your God has blessed you, because the Lord your God has blessed you. You know what I'm saying? You keep showing up. You keep showing up. God gonna keep showing up. I am freaking a living testimony of that. Those of you who've been riding, y'all watching it. In the physical world, it looks like, you're sitting on the trampoline today. Is this the difference? But in the spiritual world, y'all have listened to my language change. You have listened to how I speak to my husband change, how I speak about my husband change, how I speak about my family has changed, how I have spoken about everything has changed. I got a freaking dog. Where did that come from? As a matter of fact, I got 2 dogs right now because my other dog came over, the other family dog came over to hang out with the new dog. I'm just saying, I am changing before your eyes. So if you don't know who and what God is, but you can see God is real through me. And once you start paying attention to yourself and doing the work, you'll be able to see that God is real through yourself. And that's the work we do, testimony. So we'll get into it. You are not to do as we do here today. Everyone does as they see fit. since you have not yet reached the resting place and the inheritance the Lord your God is giving you. But you will cross the Jordan and settle in the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and he will give you rest from all your enemies around you, so that you will live in safety. Then to the place the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name. There you are to bring everything I command you, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, and all the choice possessions you have vowed to the Lord, and there rejoice before the Lord your God, you, your sons and daughters, your males and female servants, and the Levites from your towns who have no allotment or inheritance of their own. Be careful not to sacrifice your burnt offerings anywhere you please. Offer them only at the place the Lord will choose in one of your tribes, and there observe everything I command you. Nevertheless, you may slaughter your animals in any of your towns and eat as much of the meat as you want, as if it were gazelle or deer, according to the blessings the Lord your God gives you. Both the ceremonially unclean and the clean may eat it, but you must not eat the blood, pouring it on the ground like water. You must not eat in your own towns the tithe of your grain and new wine and olive oil, or the firstborn of your herds and flocks, or whatever you have vowed to give, are your freewill offering or special gifts. Instead, you are to eat them in the presence of the Lord your God at the place the Lord your God will choose. You, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levites from your towns, and you are to rejoice before the Lord your God in everything you put your hand to. Be careful not to neglect the Levites as long as you live in your land. When the Lord God has enlarged your territory as he promised you, and you crave meat and say, I would like some meat, then you may eat as much of it as you want. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far away from you, you may slaughter animals from the herds and flocks the Lord has given you as he has commanded you. And in your own towns you may eat as much of them as you want. Eat them as you would gazelle or deer. Both the ceremonially unclean and the clean may eat, but be sure you do not eat the blood, because the blood is the life. That's why they tell you to cook your food all the way, because you don't want to eat the blood, because the blood is the life. Oh, but I like a good medium well. I don't want to go back to well, God. I don't want to go back to well. What's up? And you must not eat the life with the meat. You must not eat the blood. Pour it out on the ground like water. Do not eat it, so that it may go well with you and your children after you. Because, yes, sir. Pretty awesome. Good job. Do not eat it, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is right in the eyes of the Lord. So you have to understand that which you are doing. Amen, amen. You have to understand that what you are doing today, you are laying the framework for your children. So if you don't care what you're doing, at least care what you're doing for your future generations. We finally need to become the generation that cares about what seeds we are putting in the ground, not because of the seeds that we will benefit from, but the seeds that our future generations will benefit from. Do you understand that it is bigger than us? It is bigger than us. It is bigger than us. We are going to be the generation to put the motherfucking community back on the map the way it needs to be. Period. I believe that in my heart. I believe that in my soul. I usually got this energy when I've been partaking, but I'm letting you know this energy is on me right now. I am popping my stuff right now to let you know that we will be the generation that takes the mind that they have put us under, rip away the chains, and free us. Call my ass Harriet Tubman. That's why I keep talking about her, because I am the modern day Harriet Tubman, and I am freeing us from the chains of slavery that we currently exist in. Us being chained and locked away from our divinity is modern day slavery, and we are breaking the chains today. But take your consecrated things and whatever you have vowed to give, and go to the place the Lord will choose. Present your burnt offerings on the altar of the Lord your God, both the meat and the blood. The blood of your sacrifices must be poured beside the altar of the Lord your God, but you may eat the meat. Be careful to obey all these regulations I am giving you, so that, and thank you for the love on the live. I really appreciate it. you so that it may always go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is good and right in the eyes of the Lord your God. So you have to understand, you got to figure out what's good and right so you can teach your kids. Testimony is struggling with relationship with God, because however God may have been introduced to them wasn't in a way that they can truly make God their own. It is us to truly come into the space of knowing and who and what God is, not how. Not how. The how is very personal, in my opinion. Caden just came up to me with his Kindle, and he was like, look, Mom, I got the Bible. So somehow he downloaded the Bible on his Kindle. Can't read, but he sees me reading the Bible, so he went and downloaded an app with the Bible on it. What he does with that is what he chooses to do with that. It is just for me to demonstrate. You understand? So if I choose to access God the way that I access God, and he chooses to access God the way that he accesses God, it is fine as long as he accesses God. Do you understand? We must not create little minions. That is not the goal. Because when we create little minions, they don't know how to think for themselves, and they don't know how to access God in their own way. Because just because we birthed it, just because we raised it, doesn't mean that their methodology to navigate this life to their highest potential is our way. We give them the keys, and we teach them how to use the keys, but we don't dictate how they use the keys. They use the keys in a way that's beneficial to them. They are a completely new generation. So how we did it can't even possibly be how we did it, because we live in two completely different worlds. The Lord your God will cut off before you the nations you are about to invade and dispossess. But when you have driven them out and settle in their land, and after they have been destroyed before you, be careful not to be ensnared by inquiring about their gods, saying, how do those nations serve their gods? We will do the same. See? How do you serve God? I'm going to do the same. No, just know that there's a God to serve, and you should serve him however you choose. Relationship with God is very personal. And again, what I'm saying is completely contradictory to what this book says, but I ain't listening to this book. I'm either going to receive the blessing or I'm going to receive the curse from this book. And what I know is that if I were to move with God the way that I have been taught to move with God my whole life, I would still hate God. But because I took God, the one true God, and I was like, okay, how can I have relationship, my very personal relationship with the one true God? And when I got to that place, me and God is aces. I'm sitting here reading the Bible on live, like I rock with God now. But so it's not for you to go and say, well, how do you do it? Let me replicate what you do. Because what I do is what touches my soul. What you do is what touches your soul. It's just the fact that you're doing something. You must not worship the Lord your God in their way, because in worshiping their God, they do all kinds of detestable things the Lord hates. They even burn their sons and daughters in the fire as sacrifices to their gods. But didn't you tell Abraham to go on and burn up Isaac? And had the other ram that was caught in the thicket not shown up, he would have burnt his son too. So this is the contradictory stuff. I'm just saying, it's okay to burn your kid when the Lord says it, but it's not okay when God says to do it. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's the hypocrisy for me. See that you do all I command, do not add it to or take away from it. Chapter 13, worshiping other gods. They spend a lot of energy telling you not to worship other gods in this here Bible. If a prophet or one who foretells by dreams appears among you and announces to you a sign of wonder, and if the sign of wonder spoken of takes place, and the prophet says, let us follow other gods, gods you have not known, and let us worship them, you must not listen to the words of the prophet or dreamer. The Lord your God is testing you to find out whether you love him with all your heart and with all your soul. It is the Lord your God you must follow, and him you must revere. So again, if somebody comes to you, myself included, you got to use your spirit of discernment. Am I a false prophet? I don't know. But what you do is you need to use your spirit of discernment, because I am not telling you how to worship God. I'm not telling you what your relationship should look like. I'm just saying you should get into the word for yourself and start asking questions and figure out who God is for you. I'm not telling you nothing else besides that. And I'm just theorizing because why am I going to read this and run my theory in my head? Now I'm going to speak out loud. This is what I do. I theorize. That's my life. I just asking questions. I'm the kid that's like, why? Because I need to know who, what, when, why, how, where. I need to write these down. There's 6 of them. But all of those is what you need to be going through your life all the time, asking these questions and getting clarification. That prophet or dreamer must be put to death for inciting rebellion against the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt and redeemed you from the land of slavery. That prophet or dreamer tries to turn you from the way the Lord your God commanded you to follow. You must purge the evil from among you. If your very own brother or your son or daughter or the wife you love or your closest friend secretly entices you, saying, let us go and worship other gods, God that neither you nor your ancestors have known, gods of the people around you, whether near or far, from one end of the land to the other. Do not yield to them or listen to them. Show them no pity. Do not spare them or shield them. You must certainly put them to death. Your hand must be first in putting them to death. Dang, thou shalt not kill unless they believe in another God. And then the hands, that's not what the Bible said, that's what I said. And then the hands of all the people stoned them to death because they tried to turn you away from the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Then all Israel will hear and be afraid, and no one among you will do such a thing again. That's that fear mongering. I remember standing in the barber shop arguing with these men talking about you must put fear in your children. Well, they were saying boys, but you must put fear in your children in order to raise a man. I was like, I think you can raise a man without making him fear. I don't know what the answer is, but I think it's not devastating your child in order to make him into a man. Hold on real quick. My phone has darkened itself because I'm out here in the sun, so I can't see the screen. My connection is almost exhausted. I wish, but can't afford to stay longer. Send love from Nigeria. Oh, hold on. If you're still there, I will go live with you. I didn't know you were in Nigeria, but I get it. I don't know how internet works out there, but thank you for coming in and showing the love. If you're still there, I can cut 10 minutes early just for you. If you hear it said about one of the towns the Lord your God is giving you to live in, the troublemakers have arisen among you and have led the people of their town astray, saying, let us go and worship other gods. Also, I repost all of my live on Lonnie Appleton Live on YouTube. So if you're late, if you're early, if you miss some, just go over to Lonnie Appleton Live, LONEEAPPLETON LIVE on YouTube, and you can catch all the beginnings, the middles, the ends, and all the ones you missed. Then you must inquire, probe, and investigate it thoroughly, and if it is true and it has been proved that this is detestable thing has been done among you, you must certainly put to the sword all who live in that town. You must destroy it completely, both its people and its livestock. You are to gather all the plunder of the town into the middle of the public square and completely burn the town and its plunder as a whole burnt offering to the Lord your God. That town is to remain a ruin forever, never to be rebuilt, and none of the condemned things are to be found in your hands. Then the Lord will turn from his fierce anger, will show you mercy, and will have compassion on you. He will increase your numbers as he promised on oath to your ancestors, because you obey the Lord your God by keeping all his commands that I am giving you today and doing what is right in his eyes. All right, we're going to stop there on chapter 14, clean and unclean food. But whenever the Bible really gets into this my way or destroy energy, it's just like that just seems like a call to action. You know what I'm saying? If people don't move how I say to move, you must destroy them. And that's why they feel so justified in that hate energy. They're like, that's hate energy. Going and looking at someone and how they live their lives, and just because they don't live their lives the way that you feel the way that you interpret it, the way that someone told you to interpret, just because someone told you this is what, how many times have they edited a word in the dictionary because they became aware or open to a new use of the word? How many times have, like, the word NIGGA went from Nigger, and it went from an insult to a term of endearment, and I'm working on moving that word out of my vocabulary, but it still holds a little place in my heart, so it's there for now. But what I'm saying is that word went from one meaning to another meaning. So if they're constantly evolving and changing and saying things can change, for the fact that we are sitting here and just hating on each other because of the way that we believe in God, and we feel justified in destroying somebody else simply because the way that they move within God isn't that which we feel they should move. I talked to so many people in the spiritual community who have talked about how as children they had to practice their beliefs in private in their Christian households. And it's just like, why do you have to hide who you are in your home? I live with 2 Christians, maybe an atheist. I'm spiritual. And my boys talk about God, but they haven't put themselves in a box. So presently, we all have different pathways to the same God. There's no conflict in our home. There's no dictation. Those who choose to go to church, go to church. Those who choose to have an ancestral altar, have an ancestral altar. Those who choose to communicate with spirits, however they choose. I just talk to them. I'm like, hey, Mom, I'm talking to my mom right now. There doesn't need to be any type of, conjuring or anything like that. I just talk to my mom. Mom, I need help. God, I need help. Whoever, angel, spirit, I need help. However you choose to be supported in this lifetime, the key is for you to know that you are not out here alone. You are not out here alone. We physically have each other, and that is why we need to continue to move into the energy. I came into this group on Facebook, and I'm cultivating the same energy that I've cultivated here in this group. And it's just crazy because I'm listening to all these people talking about, I want friends. Who wants to have a play date? I desperately need friends. I need friends. But then when you look at the energy that these people are putting into developing these friendships, they're putting very minimal energy into it. Outside of posting, anybody want to have a play date, these people aren't doing anything. I can't see my screen because my phone is getting too hot. So I'm going to go out of... Y'all ever get off of the trampoline on one of these things and it pinch your leg? Yeah, I do that often. Hold on. But I just look at the minimal effort that people are putting into these friendships that they're trying to call into themselves. Like, if you truly want to make a connection, and what is crazy is we're all black women. We're all black women out here trying to make friends with other black women. And we know, because we are black women, what it takes to be a friend to a black woman. But we really out here putting the most minimal effort into becoming a friend with a black woman. And then wonder why we ain't got no friendships. So we just have to learn. Oh, shoot. I was trying to set my little stand up, but I messed it up. Hold on.
You're okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know it's okay. Don't need to be dramatic about nothing, huh? That's right. Let me see. Okay, that's a good height. We just need to know that it's okay to show up for ourselves. If there's something that we are trying, or sorry, not trying. If there's something that we are working, this thing is not moving. There's something that we're working to accomplish in this lifetime. The amount of effort that you put into it is the amount of support. There we go. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to get out the sun so I could see my screen. I don't know why a phone thinks it's smarter than I am. But the amount of effort that you put into your life is a direct result of the amount of effort that your life is going to put into you. The amount of effort that you put into your friendships is a direct result that your friendships are going to put in you. The amount... I don't know anything... Oh, yeah, you can. the amount of energy and effort that you put into your spousal relationships is the amount of effort you're going to receive in return. It is not for you to exit a relationship and do no work on yourself. And the crazy thing is, most of us as women, we are out here evolving and changing. We're like, okay, why did that happen? So we're kind of in our energy, but we're not fully in our energy. That's what this content is about. So if you're not familiar with the content, get familiar. But we're asking the questions, but at the end of the day, it's like this dog is biting the other dog in the face, and the dog is just letting them. Like an old dog and a puppy. I don't know if you can see them, but that's funny. That's the patience that parents have with children. Our children are crawling all over us, and we're just like, So I love the patience. You can learn a lot from just watching dogs. You can learn a lot from watching animals. You can learn from watching trees. You can learn a lot from watching everything that God has created. And God has created everything because God either created it naturally or God created the creator. Therefore, God has created everything. So if you need and you're seeking answers in your life, and right now I'm just rambling, y'all. If you need or you're seeking answers within your life, just open your eyes and just pay attention to what's going on around you. They tell us that it's a coincidence. They tell us not to look for signs. The signs are the devil. No, the signs is spirit communicating with you. Spirit can't walk up to you and say, hey, oh, I tapped my own screen. Oh, shit, I can give myself likes. Oh, shit, if I would have known that, I've been double tapping my screen this whole time. Yo, pay attention to what you're doing. Always be aware of your surroundings, okay? Anyway, yeah, if you want to build your network, you have to put the effort necessary into building your network. And you have to understand, if you were lazy in building your network, the people who match your energy are going to... Hey, you don't bite her ear like that. You don't bite ears. She didn't like that. Say sorry. I know you tired, Kaya. But I appreciate you having patience with alfalfa. I'll pet you when I'm finished, because I gotta take a shower after I pet you. I think I'm actually allergic to you. I'm not allergic to alfalfa for some reason. Anyway, guys, if you're not familiar with me, I'm Lonnie Appleton. How are you, friends? I am a healthy family advocate. I advocate for the healthy restoration of our family, starting with ourselves. If you're not familiar with the content, please get familiar with the content. Give me a follow. Check me out on YouTube as soon as I finish my exit. Check me out on YouTube as the apple turns. If you're interested in any of my lives, I repost them on Lonnie Appleton Live on YouTube. LONEE Appleton Live. If you want to support the community, you can support it by donating to the Cash App, Lonnie Appleton, in the link in bio. If you want to purchase the merch is available at LonnieLifestyle.com, link in bio. I am a 2-time published author, so you can always pick up one of my books. They're both teaching. Okay, but I'm reading. They're beautiful teaching pieces as well as entertaining. One is urban fiction and one is my spiritual journey and how I unlocked myself with intention. You can use that book to unlock yourself. Both available at LonnieLifestyle.com. What's the best that can happen, which is my spiritual evolution, is available on Amazon. Just make sure the seller is Lonnie Taylor. Otherwise, I go live Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Is presently 12:59 p.m. So 59 minutes ago. I'm usually late, but I go live. So if you want to commune with like-minded individuals, you want to just get in the comments and kiki in a positive space, you want to make positive connections, join me on live 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time daily, Monday through Saturday when time permits, and get to know the people in the comments section. Start building your network with like-minded people who are being progressive in life and moving their lives forward, who are focused on healing themselves, focused on healing their family, and becoming the best version of themselves for themselves and for the collective. Tomorrow is Friday. I will be here for Bible study. So tomorrow, an hour ago, I will log on and we will read the Bible again and have some great conversation and real commune in the energy of the Lord. But we will commune tomorrow. And yeah, have a wonderful day. If you missed a live, you can always check them out all the way from Genesis 1 to Deuteronomy, whatever we just read today, is reposted on Lonnie, Lonee, Appleton, Appleton, live, Live. So you guys have a great day. Hey Pat, I will see you later. Hey, how are you, my friend? But I'll see you guys later. Definitely check out when I drop how I'm teaching Caden how to ride his bike. It'll be March 7th on YouTube with no training wheels, because my boy can ride with no training wheels now. It's really cool. You have a blessed day as well. Everybody have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.